Morning, it's good to have you with us. We'll start with this story coming out of Pretoria, and it's an update on developments that started unfolding there yesterday. Angry parents stormed the Basic Education building in Pretoria, demanding that their children be placed in schools. It's now the second month of the academic year, and many children have still not set foot in any school in Gauteng. And we understand officials are in Atteridgeville in Pretoria this morning to try and assist parents. And that's where we find eNCA's Pule Letshwiti-Jones, who is standing by there with an update. Pule, so this was a dramatic turn of events on the part of parents. It's happening in an area that was one of the epicenters of these backlogs and bottlenecks around placing of pupils in the first and second week of schooling in Gauteng. It would seem weeks later the problem persists.
Definitely. Remember that there were several protests that are being staged by parents outside various schools here in Pretoria, and it seems as though, like you've just said, this problem is yet to be resolved. And maybe just to have a voice into this matter, I just want to bring in a parent here quickly who will be telling us whether they have been assisted. Before I move to the spokesperson, Mr. Mhlanga. Mama Lekai.
Papa.
So molato ba le thusitse ngwana kene sekolo go tsamega jang?
Ba re thusitse mara ba re thusitse after sebaka since di 13 re nyaka space sa January kona re tlo screen ka tsena le hona ka tsena a re show lo re screen ka ba re ngotse mo pampiring ba tswa mo rena a re show
azamba re ngwana o tlo kena ka mohare
a ba re botso re tlo tsena ka henge be le tlo tsena ke ba mbutse re tsena go sekolong se sefeng ba no ngwala ba re batla mphone after 2 days
ba ga bana bona ba ikaya
ba ka ba ithu
ba go ga beno
ba teng o mwana shule o mwana ashu.
Oh, okay. As you've just heard there, Tulas, this woman is saying that she's yet to be assisted and that they just wrote the names of her children down on a piece of paper, awaiting that she will get that assistance for them to go into proper schooling. But I'm just going to bring it now, Mr. Mhlanga from the Department of Education. You've heard what the lady has said there. Uma Ati, she's yet to be assisted. What is the way forward, Mr. Mhlanga?
No, she will be assisted. We are going to assist all the parents that are here. The district director is here as well to make sure that the admission process is completed, but also to ensure that once all these learners have been registered today, we are going to go back to the system to check if there have not already been allocated spaces in other schools. And we'll also find spaces for the learners who are yet to be placed in the schools that are still having spaces. But there is a school here that we are going to reopen, Boweni Primary School, which we are currently preparing for learners and teachers to start going there. The district director was telling us just now that there's a person identified to be an acting principal there, and teachers are also being told to go to that school. So all work is underway. Even this parent who just spoke to you now, she's going to be assisted.
It's been a very, very challenging 2 days for you so far. We saw the incidents that took place in Jan Viljoen and Rand West. Now here, there's sort of been a backlog in terms of students, or rather pupils, being placed into schools. What has been the delay in terms of this process as well here in this province?
Well, I was at Jan Viljoen yesterday as well, so I left there and I came to attend to this one because this one was unique in that people were storming the DBE building. There was a breach of security, damage to property, assault, all sorts of things that took place there, but all of it related to admission. So in this case, we have a situation where in Atteridgeville all the high schools are overflowing with learners. There's no more space. That's why the community itself has suggested that that school, which had been closed years ago, should be reopened so that it can be used for teaching and learning, and that is what is being done now. So as for Jan Viljoen, there it's a different situation, but you know, it's a situation where we're coming from many months of COVID conditions where learners were not all in school at the same time, and now that they are back, all sorts of social issues are erupting, and we are attending to that. The Human Rights Commission is there now. The MEC has been attending to that matter as well, and he's been here as well, and he left after he saw that things are in order. So we are all over the place trying to make sure that things are going fine.
Does the department admit there's a crisis in terms of its admission systems, particularly because we'd also witnessed earlier protests sparking in other schools here in Pretoria of the same issues which involve admission?
Well, the crisis is not admission. The crisis is lack of space. The parents have said here that there's a demand, and the district director agrees, and the province agrees that there's a need for a new high school to be built in Atteridgeville, and that is going to be done. It's not something that will happen tomorrow, but it's definitely going to be done, because now we are sitting with a crisis like this one. So that's where there's a crisis. In terms of the admission itself, things are working. That's why schools are full, because everyone that applied on time has been admitted to a point where there was no more space to accommodate any more people. And the question is, what then do we do with those that don't have space? And the one option is the one that we're doing now, to go back to schools which had been closed because there were no learners. And now we have to reopen those, because now there's a huge demand for space in schools, in Gauteng in particular.
Samhlanga, thank you very much. We'll monitor the situation and see if really these parents are assisted.
Yeah, great. Let's do that. Let's do that together.
Okay, thank you very much. Pule Letshwiti-Jones from the Department of Education saying that they are on the ground trying to ensure that parents can be assisted, and that with the issue of space in schools that be resolved, and that, you know, no child should be left outside and not in a space where they can be learning, and also particularly that update on the issue at the Jan Viljoen School, saying Jan Viljoen, saying that they are also on the ground. They're looking at how that matter can be resolved within that particular area, which is in the Rand West as well.
Yeah, all right, Pule, thank you for that. It's quite interesting, I should say, that the solutions that are being suggested by the community there in Atteridgeville on how to deal with this situation of overcrowding and lack of space seem to always be, readily available, in that once the community suggested it, that some teachers be moved around and teachers be deployed there, some of the primary schools be converted to high schools, etc., and, try and accommodate high school learners. The department readily agreed, and they're actually doing that. One wonders why that was not the go-to solution to start off with. But in any case, let's leave it there. That's eNCA's Pule Letshwiti-Jones. He's out in Atteridgeville monitoring that situation around the placement of pupils in schools. Yeah, so it's interesting. The community suggests a solution, and the department, to their credit, readily agrees to some of their suggestions. But one wonders, what were the other solutions they were thinking about? Why were these not the go-to solutions in the interim, pending the building of a new school in the area of Atteridgeville?